Good morning. It is 10 a.m. on January 31st, 2023. We'll call to order the meeting of the Story County Board of Supervisors. Please stand with me if you're able and say the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. There are a couple changes to today's agenda. We're going to pull Samantha Brady from the action forms, and we're also going to, remove. And we're going to remove additional item number 1 from the agenda.
I move approval of the agenda with those changes.
Second. Hens.
Aye.
Basil, aye. Now it's time for public comment number 1. This comment period is for the public to address topics on today's agenda. I have a slip for a public comment, but I do not see Constance Torstall. Okay, we'll pause. Hi.
We need to pull from the consent agenda, the integrated nursing solutions.
Okay.
Number 10.
Okay.
And we may be putting it later in this board meeting since it's on the consent agenda. We might just want to discuss it.
So you want discussion on item 10, not, you don't.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
So we're changing it from consent agenda to under additional.
And
items.
under additional items. Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. We'll talk to you later.
Okay. And then I meant to start the meeting just with a statement about the Tyree Nichols incident and just acknowledging where we are again this morning, that we're again talking about something terrible that happened to a member of our community, our larger community, and just acknowledging the collective pain that exists surrounding these repeated incidences, and acknowledging that we still have a tremendous amount of work to do, and committing to continuing to work on that work. So I meant to start the meeting with that. So with that, oh, I did not, I'm sorry, I left the proclamation on my desk.
I have it on my iPad
Yeah,
here.
okay, so sorry. And I have it too. Would you like to start, Supervisor Hedens? You can just look at me where you want to pass.
Okay, sure. Proclamation for Black History Month, February 2023. Whereas Black History Month, also known as African American History Month, is celebrated each February in the United States. And whereas this began in 1926 and was originally planned for 1 week to coincide with the birthdays of 2 important individuals in the fight to end slavery, Frederick Douglass and Abraham Lincoln. And whereas in 1976, it was expanded to encompass the entire month of February to recognize the significant contributions made by African Americans to our country's economy, politics, science, religion, and society as a whole. And whereas to preserve and protect the legacy of African Americans at a time should be set aside to focus and reflect on the lifetime triumphs and achievements of great leaders, educators, scholars, inventors, politicians, writers, artists, and citizens. And
Whereas Story County continues to work toward becoming an inclusive community in which all citizens, past, present, and future, are respected and recognized for their contributions and potential contributions to our community, the state, the country, and the world. And whereas Story County is proud to honor the history and contributions of African Americans in our community throughout our state and nation. Now therefore be it resolved that we, the Story County Board of Supervisors, do hereby proclaim February 2023 as Black History Month and encourage all citizens to recognize, celebrate, and expand their knowledge on the history, culture, legacy, struggles, and achievements of African Americans.
I move the proclamation.
Second, Hens.
Aye.
Basil, aye. Consideration of minutes.
I move approval of the January 24th, 2023 minutes as presented.
Second, Hens.
Aye.
Basil, aye. Consideration of personnel actions.
I move approval of the personnel actions with the noted change at the beginning of the meeting.
Second, Hens.
Aye.
Basil, aye. Consideration of claims.
I move approval of claims as presented.
Second, Hens.
Aye.
Basil, aye. Consent agenda, we are pulling item 10, but we're also pulling item 9. I would like to pull item 9, if that's okay with you.
So I move approval of the consent agenda with the items being pulled as noted.
Second, Hens.
Aye.
Basil, aye. So item 9 is consideration of revised staff member on the Go Green team. We just need to add Tim Patterson from IT to that list also.
Okay. So a motion would be to approve consideration of the revised staff member on the Go Green team to add Tim Patterson.
Second, Hens.
Aye.
Basil, aye. Now is time for public hearing items. We have consideration of resolution 23-60. Entering into a purchase agreement for the purchase of approximately 2.33 acres of property. I'm not going to read the whole thing.
Why not? Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, we're here to discuss and consider the purchasing of, we'll call it 221 South 11th Street in Nevada, formerly the Mosaic Building. It's property that sits adjacent to our Justice Center property. Properties actually meet. This is currently it's like an office type building. We are looking at purchasing it to fulfill our storage needs. It's a little over 16,000 square feet. We were proposing to build a storage facility on our Justice Center property to meet some needs for facilities management, the sheriff's office, and potentially some other departments. And we were looking at building something around the 10,000 square foot range for about 580,000. And then we saw this opportunity come up a couple of weeks ago. So it's 16,000 square foot, 480,000, with the understanding over the next couple of years, we'd probably have to put 140,000 into the facility. But still, that puts us at roughly 6,000 more square feet for, comes down to, if we built something, it would be around the $70 per square foot mark. We could do this out the door for about $39 per square foot and have more space to grow into. I worked with Ethan Anderson in the attorney's office to draft purchase agreement between Story County and Mosaic Corporation. So that's the attachment there.
Perfect.
And they've Mosaic has already accepted our offer of 480,000 and have signed the purchase agreement. So we're getting discussion and consideration of the board whether or not.
Just want to say thank you for hopping on that so quickly.
Yeah,
and keeping your eye out.
Leanne deserves some of the credit too, because I wouldn't have known about it if she wouldn't have sent me a text message. So
Well, thank you, Leanne, also. Do you have any questions?
I do not.
Okay, so we will open the public hearing. Anyone wishing to make public comment on this item, you can raise your hand on Zoom or step to the podium. Give it just a second in case someone's trying to. Okay, seeing no one wishing to make public comment, we will close the public hearing. And I will entertain a motion.
I move approval of resolution 23-60 to enter into the purchase agreement for the purchase of the
221.
2.33 acres of property, otherwise known as the Mosaic Building, as listed on item number 11. Oh, from lost revenue.
Second, Hens,
Aye.
Basil, aye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to additional items. Let's do discussion and consideration of bid letting for bridge replacement project, and then we'll move to the item that was removed from consent.
Sounds good.
Good morning.
Good morning. So I'd like to talk to you about the letting from last week, project L-CO 85 P15E-73-85. So a little background on the project. We kind of went over this last week, and Darren may have let you know too, but originally budgeted at 500,000. We had another bridge letting in November, so we adjusted numbers with that in mind, and our engineer's estimate was just under 600,000 for the project. We received one bid from Herberger Construction, excuse me, for $793.80. So that came in 28% over our engineer's estimate and 53% over the original budgeted amount. So fairly high. For comparison, the bridge that we had in November had 6 bidders on it, and 4 of those bidders were within 8% of the engineer's estimate. And the high was 26% over the engineer's estimate. So kind of where our bid came in. We also analyzed all the bridges let in the DOT lettings for November, December, and January. We did find one that had only one bidder, but all the rest of those projects, 40 plus, that had 2 or more bidders. And then we did attach a memo with our recommendation. So as much as we hate to say it, we are recommending that we reject the bid for this bridge. Reviewing our budget, that's and speaking with Darren, that seems to be only our only option unless there's some additional funding out there. We've only done this once before that we could remember. In 2014, similar situation, we had one bid. That project was 18% over the engineer's estimate. We rejected it, relet it the next year. We did have 4 bidders, but the low bid was 2% higher than the bid we rejected. So a higher bid is a possibility. And then our only concern really is with Herberger Construction. They're an important contractor for us. They've done 4 bridges for us in the last 6 years, which is more than any other contractor. So we don't want to do anything that would make them not want to bid on our projects. So do you have any questions on that?
So you're looking to pull this,
We would like to reject all bids. and
reject
then
it from right now, and then you're
and
going to
then
relet
relet
it
it.
at a later date and
we'll
see if you get
change-
some additional.
We'll change a couple of scheduling things and maybe give free winter work in an attempt to make it more attractive to bidders.
That sounds reasonable.
I move that we reject consideration of the bid letting for the bridge replacement project L-C 085.
Second, Hens,
Aye.
Basil, aye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, now we will move to consideration of medical services agreement between Story County and Integrated Nursing Solutions LLC. Good morning, Sheriff.
Good morning. I'd like to thank the board for giving consideration on this issue. As we discussed in earlier meetings, our current medical provider called Mend has, they're closing their doors. They're going in for bankruptcy. So we have been working to find a replacement. We have done that and the agreements are signed and it's before the Board of Supervisors today for the final signature. If that would be the case, then this new medical provider would take over at midnight tonight. We've already sent Mend a letter certified that their services are done at 11:59 tonight. So as contracts like this sometimes create hiccups, we came across a hiccup here. And the hiccup that we have is finding indemnification for medical insurance. The person that we have the contract with, the insurance companies are getting back to him and saying that the amounts are too high. And he's already received either 6 or 7 insurance companies that said they would not cover it that high. In consultation with our assistant county attorney, Ethan, we believe that a negotiation with one of the providers that he feels he could hopefully negotiate a lower cost. Now, with that information that I've just given you, what I'm asking is that the Board of Supervisors not sign the contract now. But if hopefully later today, we can come back and have this remedied and have an insurance company that's negotiated a price that's acceptable, that I would ask the Board of Supervisors to call for a special meeting to allow 24-hour publication of that meeting just for the sole item of addressing this contract. Because Mend having a certified letter saying that we're done with them, we're going to try to reach out to them to see if they would extend it because they had agreed to extend it to the end of February. But I would assume that they would say, oh no, we're done. And that's where I think they would leave it. Therefore, we're in a very tight position right now. I don't want any time that a medical issue has to be handled, that it's a medical trip to the hospital for that to be taken care of. And also the issues of other things that go along with the nursing staff, taking care of medicines for distribution to the inmates and bookings. And when someone comes in, being reviewed by the nurse in certain situations. So anyway, I'm asking that the board not sign this and with the consideration of calling a special meeting as soon as we can get this issue resolved.
But the special meeting would need to be tomorrow.
Well, if we can get it resolved today, we'd let you know immediately. And then at your soonest opportunity within 24 hours, then we would have that special meeting and have that handled.
Okay. Okay.
So in other words, if it was resolved at 3 this afternoon, it could be posted and we would do one later tomorrow afternoon.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
Okay.
thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next we have departmental reports, animal control quarterly report. Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
There's just some highlights of last quarter. The animal intakes, more specifically cats and kittens, did not slow down and actually increased in October to the highest number according to the last 2 years of data, with 114 cats, 18 dogs, and 2 guinea pigs. However, our adoptions and total live outcomes did keep up.
Pull your microphone.
We went out on 38 animal control calls. Most of these were stray animal reports and pickups. We did have 5 animal bites and 5 welfare checks. Some of these calls will overlap, such as stray animal report may turn into a welfare check or an animal bite. And then as of January 25th, we had 5 dogs, 75 cats, and 1 guinea pig in the shelter. 11 of these animals are currently in foster care. And I have been entering old written records into our Shelter Pro software from 2017 to 2019 to have a clearer picture of possible trends and improvements. Our animal control officer attended a chemical immobilization class in October, and this will assist the department when responding to animal control calls when we are unable to safely approach an animal causing a dangerous situation or will not let us safely approach. And then just going to post the 2022 statistical highlights of our animal intakes and outcomes. We took in a total of 480 domestic animals in 2022. 154 of these were owner surrenders, about a 55% increase from 2021. And our live release rate increased to about 96%. We had 385 adoptions and 76 of our animals spent time in foster care for either socialization, critical care, supportive care, and hospice care. Any questions?
No.
I
just-
don't, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say it's impressive the number of animals that you've taken in and that have been adopted out as well.
Thank you.
That's great.
I love the foster care program.
Yeah, it really helps.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't have any other
No, I
questions.
don't
Thank
either.
you, Anna.
Thank you.
Thanks.
We have no other reports. Any upcoming agenda items? Okay, moving on to public comment number 2, comments from the public on items not on this agenda. The board may not take any action on the comments due to requirements of open meetings law, but may do so in the future. Anyone wishing to make public comment, you can raise your hand on Zoom or step forward to the table. Seeing no one, will close public comment number 2 and move to liaison assignments, committee meeting updates, and announcements from the supervisors.
Want me to start?
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Okay, so I have a children's behavioral health meeting at noon, and then I have a workforce meeting at 1. Tomorrow, I do have a HERDA meeting at 1 p.m. I was going to tentatively be down at the Capitol tomorrow, but it really kind of depended what was flowing through. So that is not something that I have to be at. I do have us on Tuesday being down at the ISAC supervisors meeting. Friday, I'm doing kind of a bill overview presentation. And then I have a meeting in, I have a dental appointment, then I have a meeting in Ames. And then Monday, I see that we have the supervisor's review of budget proposals on my agenda.
Awesome. Well, first, welcome back.
Thank you.
Good to have you. This afternoon, I have a SIRHA interview with a possible new executive director for SIRHA. Tomorrow, I have a NACO Justice and Public Safety Policy Steering Committee meeting. I will also be at the statewide supervisors meeting on Thursday. Thursday evening, there's a Discover Ames event that I'm planning to go to. I'm looking forward to your presentation on Friday. And then Story City has its annual celebration on Saturday evening from 7 to 8. And yep, I also have the budget review on Monday. Yep, that's it. All right, anything further?
I move we adjourn.
Second, Hens,
Aye.
Basil, aye. We are adjourned.